Hello, ladies. Welcome back to the show. Okay, today we are going to have a little bit of a truth talk on my socials this week. We're going to be talking all about accountability. And as always, I'm going to give the disclaimer that I am your no judgment, all accountability, truth talk, fat loss coach. I speak from my heart with so much love, and I don't sugarcoat things because I move with integrity and I want you to succeed. My message is not for everyone. I speak to women who are ready mentally, physically to pursue a fat loss journey. And I speak to women who are open and receptive and ready to hear some tough love. And today's episode is a tough love talk. So if you're not in the headspace for that today, I certainly am not always in that headspace. That is totally okay. But you may want to come back to this episode at another time when you are ready. Today is definitely going to be a good one. If you are in a place where you are like, Hillary, give me the truth talk, I need it so much, you are definitely in for a treat. Okay, now that we got that disclaimer out of the way, let's roll the intro. What's up, you guys? You're listening to the podcast It's All About Balance with me, Hillary Downey. On this show, I'll teach you how to ditch fad dieting once and for all so you can quit gaining and losing the same weight over and over again. Forget extreme diets that deprive you and don't work. With macro counting, you can learn how to lose weight eating the food you love. Pizza, cookies, and wine, it's all on the table. But we don't just talk about diet around here. We'll cover fitness, mindset, lifestyle habits, all of the important topics I had to address in my own 100-pound weight loss journey that you'll need to reach your goals as well. You deserve to look and feel your best, and I'm so excited to walk beside you and show you how. It's time to unlearn what you've been taught about weight loss and discover that it's truly all about balance. So let's go. Okay, ladies, settle in. Let's get comfy. If you are on your hot mom, hot girl walk, turn the volume up. If you're driving, crank it up. If you are watching with me on YouTube, hello. This is our second episode of Recording with Video. I've got my coffee cup. This is the least functional coffee cup. Do you have something in your life that you love so much and it just brings you joy and happiness, but it is not even functional? Okay, that is these coffee cups. If you're watching live, if you want the link, they're from Amazon. I will totally link them for you. They're so freaking cute. Look how cute. So cute, so trendy. They're really good quality too. I kind of thought when I ordered them because of the price, they were going to be Anyways, they're actually super thick glass and they're just so cute. But the handle is terrible. If you can see this, it's just not good. They've slipped a couple times when I've been drinking them. I'm definitely not selling you guys on them, but this is my point. I just love it. It's so cute. And so usually I make a half a pot of coffee, but if I ever just make a single cup, I just grab these because they're so cute. Also, they don't keep your coffee warm for very long. So again, if you're going for functionality, do not buy these cups. If you like cuteness and it brings you joy to drink out of a cup like this, then 10 out of 10, cannot suggest enough. Okay, settle in. And one more thing, there's pumpkin spice in that and it is still August. So either you're with that or you're not. I'll be honest, I'm really not with it. I shared this on social over the weekend. I don't know. I'm a summer baby, July baby, Cancer baby, water baby, all the things. I have trouble letting go of summer. I just want to be near the beach. I want to be near the water, and fall is my second favorite season. It really is. And it's a pretty close second because I love football and all that good stuff. I do love the cooler weather, especially in Arkansas, but I love summer. So I'm having a little bit of trouble letting go. And I shared that on social over the weekend. Okay. Already gave my disclaimer, so I'm not going to give it again. Again, if we're in the headspace for the truth talk, that is what we're going to do today. And I always my tagline is, no judgment, all accountability, because the truth of the matter is you guys have to remember, as somebody who lost 100 pounds herself, yes, I've coached thousands of women, but really what so much of my experience comes from is myself. So when I say no judgment, it's because I'm over here like, hello, guilty, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Okay. So today's accountability truth talk, I just have a feeling that you probably need to hear this one. I think that maybe like the landscape of even just like social and a lot of places like this kind of needs to be said. And I'm so not afraid to say it. I'm just such a truth talker. I'm not going to hide how I feel. And either you're with it or you're not, but this comes from an experience that I had recently. So again, no judgment. So we're going to weave my story into something that I really need to talk to you guys about because I have a feeling that you're standing in your own way with this one. And so we're going to dive right in. Okay. So last week, actually super quick background info. So this summer, I've been a little bit more like maintenance mode. The first part of the summer, I was in a deficit. I was shedding some body fat, before my beach trip. Came home from the beach trip, bought my house. That's a whole whirlwind. Had to move, paint, like all the things that happen when you buy a house or move. And so kind of slipped into maintenance mode on purpose, was like not the time, not the place for me personally. And I made that decision, like, let's just go ahead and go a little bit more maintenance mode. And at the end of summer, maybe I'll turn it back up. We'll just kind of see where we're at. So there's the background info. That second half of summer was more maintenance mode. So last week, literally, this is last week, right? Today is Monday when I'm recording this. Last week, I was headed to dinner with my girlfriends. And this was like my first week where I was like super back to it, like super, I'm on it. Let's go. We're not just tracking, like we're staying in the calories. We're hitting the protein goal 100%. Okay. So headed to dinner with my girlfriends, and I had this whole like, what am I doing moment that I know so many women can relate to on their weight loss journey. And I was like, I've got to share about this. So I'm going to talk about this on next week's show. Okay. So I had shared this on TikTok, and it's also here on YouTube. If you want to go check it out, I had shared a video for like literally how I will set up my pre-logging or set up like logging my food whenever I'm eating out so that I can still hit my target, stay in my calories, and know what I'm eating before I go out to eat, like before I get to the restaurant. This was a, call it a hack, call it a habit, call it a tip, whatever, that I used in my 100-pound transformation that honestly, I couldn't imagine like that I would have ever made the progress I made without it because we ate out so often. And that's my whole thing. Like I love eating out. I love being able to socialize. I love being able to go to these things. I was never going to be able to give that up for weight loss. Like I was never going to be able to be like, I'm just going to have to say no to everything while I lose this weight. So it's like a huge part of my whole like balanced approach was I know I need to be able to go out to eat. And so one of the habits that I created for myself that truly paid dividends in my progress was looking at the menu ahead of time and logging that food. So anyways, last week I'm headed to dinner with my girlfriends. I'm serious. It's go mode, like I'm ready. And I looked at the menu ahead of time. And in that video, I showed like how I came to the decision for what I was going to eat. And I found, what was going to fit in perfectly. I'm like, oh, perfect. Like, cause I'd already eaten breakfast and lunch. Normally I would pre-log ahead. Didn't happen. Tom was sick. It was a crazy week. So I'm working with what I've got. I figured it out. Like I know exactly what I'm gonna have. I'm like, okay, this is perfect. On the drive over there, literally on the drive, like I've got my plan, I'm driving over there. My mind started to play this game with me. Like it's almost so quiet. Like the voice is so quiet that I almost didn't even really like hear it. Like it was almost like an unconscious, like subconscious moment. Okay. But I start playing the game with myself of like, well, it is just one dinner, it's not even a big deal. Like, really, I could just get started tomorrow. I mean, I even started doing the math. Y'all are going to know. I know y'all are going to know what I'm talking about. I started doing the math. Like I have an event coming up that I want to feel really, really good for. That's kind of what I'm in this last little fat loss phase, summer shape up for. Got this event in mind. I start doing the math, like breaking it down of like, okay, well, how many weeks and how many days? And like, well, technically if I got started tomorrow, I'd still have this many days and this many. what? I stopped myself. Like I caught myself like doing it and I stopped myself. And I literally said to myself, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? I had to call myself out that this form of self-sabotage is what oftentimes will leave you stuck, leave you spinning your wheels, not making the progress you want to make, and ultimately getting to that event, that thing that you've been like wanting to feel good for, that you envisioned you were going to feel amazing for, and like frankly being disappointed in yourself that you're not where you want to be. Like I'm like having this conversation with myself of like, like why would you do this? Like why would you have this plan in place, know what you want for yourself, and then start like being like, oh, I could just do it tomorrow. And like, I caught myself being like if I continue to do that, I'm definitely not going to feel good for this event. And like, it's easy in the moment to be like, well, it's just this one time, but then you continue to do that, right? You continue to do that. And I want to talk to you guys about this because I have a feeling that you're sitting here going, yep, I do that. Yep, that happens sometimes. I want to talk to you guys about this because this is the thing that I've had to do with myself, definitely with my clients. And that is sometimes you have to call yourself out on your own BS, period. Sometimes you have to call yourself out. And I am the first to say like beating yourself up, talking negatively about yourself, like, like that's not it. Like that's not what I'm not talking about like shaming yourself. Okay. Calling yourself out is shaming yourself. We're talking about two totally different things here. Okay. I'm not talking about not giving yourself some grace and some compassion. Like if you're in my programs, like we were about that. Okay. That's how I lost 100 pounds was actually giving myself grace and compassion. So that's not what I'm saying. That's not the way to do it either. But as with all things, I truly believe that there's a balance. And I say with all things, most things, there's a balance. And so on the flip side of this idea that yes, you got to give yourself some grace. If you're giving yourself too many passes, if you're letting too many things slip, that's not really the self-love that we're saying we need to be giving ourselves, right? Like that self-compassion, like if you set your mind to something, if you say, I want to accomplish this, I want to lose the weight, I want to feel good in my body, and you say that that's important to you, and you're constantly wavering on that in the name of, I just need to give myself grace. That's not self-love. That is not self-love because you're not holding yourself accountable to the things that you want, to the improved quality of life that you're after. And I think there's a tendency to go like so hard, like in the black and whites, in the extremes with these things. And I think that this really comes from having like, we beat ourselves up for so long, with these extreme diets and that outdated weight loss that came from like shame and judgment and you're bad and how dare you eat that and all of that, like just all that icky stuff, that then you tend to go really hard in the other direction. And then you're left with a lack of results because you're not holding yourself accountable. And I can think about my experience with this because over a decade ago, when I came into the industry as I wasn't a client, like as a woman looking to lose weight and transform her body before I was ever in the industry as like a professional, there was a lot of that like tough love, like especially in like the macro groups I was in, because it was a lot of bodybuilding and there was this like, no, like kind of shamey stuff. And I don't know, just a narrative that wasn't super supportive and there was no grace and all of that. Okay. And just about the time that I came into the industry as a coach, just a few years later, this is like a decade ago. Wow, that's insane to even think about. This is like a decade ago. This narrative really started to shift into, we need to give ourselves grace. We need to have compassion. Sometimes you just really need to let it go. And I'm not knocking anyone approach. Again, I always say this, for some people, that's what you need, right? But that can be too extreme, right? We can give ourselves so many passes and almost use that as a crutch to not show up and do the things we said that we were going to do. And at some point, we really do have to realize like, it's not loving to continue a toxic cycle of saying that you're going to do something, saying that you're going to make this commitment to yourself, saying that you're, going to follow through and then not. And, I always think about this in terms of like, if you did that to a loved one, a friend, a loved one, or they did it to you, you wouldn't trust them. You would not have a stable relationship. It would be this rocky ground. Like, when you can't trust somebody, okay, well, that's the relationship you end up having with yourself. This rocky, unstable, I don't trust myself relationship. When you don't keep the promises you make to yourself, when you're constantly abandoning, you really do just create this mistrust with yourself, right? And so the relationship you have with yourself, it's really important. And it goes beyond, loving yourself goes beyond just patting yourself on the back all the time or saying like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Letting toxic cycles slide and being stuck in a perpetual loop that never ends of abandoning and sabotaging that you want out of, that's not it. And again, I fully realize my approach, my methods, they're not for everyone. And if you're in a season of life, honestly, where you have been so hard on yourself with your dieting or the methods that you were using, and you just kind of need to step away from goals in a way that, like holding yourself accountable, being tough on yourself, giving yourself that tough love, like I totally get it, like 100%. But if you're like me and you're like the women that I work with and that I speak to, that I'm here for, and you want to lose weight and you want to make the progress and you need to hear that sometimes you have to call yourself out on your own sabotaging behavior so that you can get out of your way. Like that's who I'm speaking to today. And honestly, like as I was driving over there, I really did like say out loud, like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you like doing this in your mind? Like, I started this week saying, this is it. This is the week. I'm so committed. This was Wednesday night, by the way. So I started Monday with my high motivation Monday, like, let's get after it. I started the week saying, I'm so committed to this. I'm so committed to the process. Like I'm committing to this calorie deficit. I'm finally like doing it. Like I'd kind of like dabbled in trying to do it. I got salmonella. I don't know if I mentioned that on the show last week. I definitely talked about it on social. And like, I kind of had like all these things pop up to where like I truly was unable to get started. And so it's like, okay, like this is the week. And that's how I started the week out. Like I'm committing to this fat loss phase. And it hit me like in the drive over there, like that doesn't just mean doing it for 2 or 3 days and then being like, well, I'm going to let it slide, because it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, my mind could and was starting to slip into, well, I'm going out to eat. It's my like best friend's like last time I'm going to see her for 2 months. She's leaving out of town on this job. Like it's special. It's fun. But it wasn't. Spending time with her was. Abandoning my goals to myself wasn't it. Like that's not it. And honestly, every time I turn around, there's something special. Like when I really hold myself accountable and I stop and I'm like, stop it. It's like, I look at it and I'm like, girl, like there's always something. There's a holiday, there's an event. There's like, I'll create the craziest thing in my mind. Like it's the first day of school. Of course we should just overindulge and eat all the things. No. So this especially was like an aha moment for me because inside of our program, we use flex days. And if you listen to the show, I talk about this, or follow on social, I talk about this. And if you're in Balanced by Hillary programs, you know all about flex days. And so, we use these tools, this tool of flex days that is a part of our signature systems, our proven framework where, you get these little pops of like memories over macros, like pop into maintenance mode for a day, a weekend, a week, like depending. We've got sort of a system in place for how to use flex days. And part of that is like knowing, have you been taking flex days? And have you been, do you have any coming up in the future? Because if so, is this like one little moment going out to eat? Like, is that really worth it to be able or to throw away, to use up? Like you only have so many, right? Like, is this one really like worth it? No, like I've got something coming up that I really want to enjoy. So no. And you got to have the truth talk with yourself of, what are you doing? What are you doing? How many times are you going to like waver on this commitment to yourself before enough is enough? And so really, I had already logged like what was going to work for me for the day. And so thankfully, I feel like in the moment of this little self-sabotage crisis that I was about to have, I had already won half the battle because I had logged that food ahead of time. And so I just want to plug really quickly for what I was kind of talking about, where if you are going out to eat, you're in a situation where you're going out to eat, you're going to be, enjoying fun foods, at a restaurant. Pre-logging, looking at your food ahead of time, not waiting until you're in the car on the drive over there, and it's really easy for that subconscious brain to start talking you out of, sticking to the plan. Like, eliminate as much of that as possible by knowing what you're having before you ever sit down and walk through the door. Like, I just want to plug for that one more time. Like, that is such a key habit that is going to help you. Obviously, you still got to fight the mental battle, right? This is what I'm always talking about. Our programs are not just about the diet and the exercise. It is also the mindset work, right? You can know what to do. You can pre-log. Like, you've got to work through the mindset stuff also. But I feel like if I hadn't looked at the menu, if I hadn't checked my food log and put it in to make sure that it was actually going to work for me, that it was going to fit into my day, it would have been very easy to maybe kind of continue that thought process of like, oh, I'll let this one go. Oh, I'll get serious tomorrow. I had already had that intention and planning ahead that I feel like really, really did just help me so much in this moment. It's very easy for me to go, no, wait a minute. I already have a plan. Let's just stick to it. If I hadn't done that, I feel like that just would have been a lot harder. So this is just another vote for plan, have intention, don't wait until you're caught in the moment. And here's like the best part of all with this one. Okay. So what I ate, what I ordered was so enjoyable. Funny, if you watched the TikTok or YouTube on this, I had both things that I had pre-logged to fit into my day were not on the menu. I don't know if it was from like seasonal or like location or what, but I was like, great. Thankfully though, I had looked at the PDF, the menu ahead of time. So I kind of knew what my other options are. Like, even though that's what I had logged, I saw what the other options were. And so the best part of me sticking to my plan and doing what I said I was going to do and showing up for myself and keeping the commitment and the promise that I made and following through truly on what it was I said I was going to. Like, this is more than the pizza and the macros. Okay. This is about the relationship I have with myself and the trust and following through and like the mental side of it, right? What I ate was so good and so enjoyable. There was not one moment once I was in the meal that I sat there and thought, man, I wish that I could just indulge in all the pizza, like all that indulgent pizza over there that I'm just going to go crazy on. Or, man, I wish that I had ordered an alcoholic beverage. Like, no, I never felt that way. I never doubted my choice. Like, once I was in it, I was enjoying my friends, like the company, like I wasn't thinking about that at all. I enjoyed my food fully, and the salad and pizza, I still had pizza. The salad and pizza that I had, so satisfying, so good. I felt so full, and I felt so great knowing that I could enjoy this experience and that I chose foods that aligned with my goals and that I was going to see the progress that I wanted to see. And so I share this story with you because we are all susceptible to self-sabotage. Unfortunately, we just are. We're human beings. Okay, so self-sabotage is and can happen, but you've got to maybe get a little tough love with yourself. And I honestly just want to ask you, like, are you towing a line with these kinds of things? Because what I realized is the reason that my mind started to sort of default to that. So going back to that literal moment when my mind started going, oh, but we could just start tomorrow. Going back to that moment, what I realized is like, oh, I've just created a habit of doing that. I've just kind of created a habit. Like, I've been in this sort of like, oh, like half committed stage. So I've created this habit of saying I was going to do it and, all that, and then not. And now I got to get out of that habit. Now I've got to break that habit. And that's tough. Like the first time you do it and even the first few times, like that's kind of tough because habits are easy. They're comfortable. You're in your comfort zone with it. You've literally created a habit. Like I feel like I've said the word habit 100 times in the last 30 seconds, but truly you can break habits. But you got to be willing to do it. You got to be willing to call yourself out. And if every single time you're like towing this line of like, oh, I'm just going to give myself grace for that one. And I'm just going to give myself a pass on that one. How much progress do you really think you'll see? And ask yourself, like, am I towing this line? Am I giving myself a little bit too much grace? And ask yourself, do I need to step up and call myself out and stop giving myself so much grace and instead give myself some tough love? I want to give you permission today as your favorite fat loss coach to do that. I want you to catch yourself in those self-sabotage moments and without judgment from yourself, okay? Without judgment. When you find yourself ordering DoorDash after you have already prepped your meals, or, saying you're going to eat this instead of the thing that you logged, or skip your workout because it's a little bit gray outside, or like whatever, when you find yourself, doing that and falling into these patterns, right? You know when you are starting to do those things, you can catch yourself. I want you to just ask yourself without judgment, why? Like, why is this happening? And again, for me, it was purely like when I had that moment, it was like, it wasn't that I really wanted the indulgent food or anything like that. Like, it wasn't that. It was just that I'd created a habit of saying I was going to do it and then not fully following through. And so that's just a pattern I've created. And so oftentimes what you'll find is a lot of what you're doing with self-sabotage, it's just the habit, the routine that you're used to. And you can pull yourself out of it. And the other thing that I want you to ask yourself when you're in these moments, besides, girl, what are you doing? is if not now, then when? Like, honestly, this is the thing that I love to just sort of say to myself when I catch myself doing this. This is that tough love that I love to give. And I love to give it to clients too. Like, you signed up, girl. If not now, then when? When? How many times are we going to keep repeating the toxic cycle? So every single time that, there's an event or there's a going out to eat situation, like you're going to falter on it. Every single time that the drinks are in front of you or the indulgent food, like you're going to always say yes and start tomorrow. Like at some point, the whole idea of like, well, I'll just get serious tomorrow. At some point, we got to stop telling ourselves that and we got to say today, right now. And I'm here to tell you, not just as your coach, as somebody who walked and walks this journey beside you, it gets easier and easier. It does. I promise you, it gets easier and easier. The mistake that so many women make is they toe the line. You're in this constant, like one foot in the door, one foot out the door. Oh, I'm committed to my goals. Oh, I'm not. Oh, I am. Oh, I'm not. Oh, there's stress. Now I can't. Oh, there's this, like that back and forth. That's what's creating this toxic cycle. No, we got to go all in on the commitment. We got to stop saying tomorrow. We've got to start saying today, right now. And we've got to start holding ourselves accountable. If you want to transform your body in a major way, it's not going to happen with this like towing the line, giving myself too much grace. Like you're going to have to like sometimes get a little uncomfortable. You're going to like, there's something right now that you're doing that's holding you back from seeing the success that you want. There's something that's holding you back. Okay. So you're going to have to get a little tough love with yourself and say, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that. And if it's all just sunshine and rainbows and, oh, I love me, like, it's okay, grace. At some point, that is just going to become a toxic cycle if it hasn't already. And I want you to break free of toxic cycles. You are so much better than the toxic cycle that you are stuck in. That future version of yourself, she's worthy right now of breaking that toxic cycle. right now. You don't have to lose 5 pounds first. You don't have to have like a really good like week of commitment first. No, you're worthy of it right now. You don't have to wait for tomorrow. You don't have to wait for next week. Like none of that. You're worthy of it right now, but you've got to be willing to call yourself out when you are engaging in those self-sabotaging behaviors, because you deserve this. Like you deserve that body. You do. Like if you want to be hot, you deserve it. If you're doing this because you want to feel better, right? You want to move and have mobility. You want to have the energy to run with your kids. If you want to have the confidence and the trust in yourself, that relationship, you deserve that. But it's going to be like tough. Like you can't just get by on grace all the time. There's got to be some tough love and some accountability if you truly want to transform. And I hope that this message reached somebody today who needed to hear it. I know I certainly did last week. Okay, like hello. I really hope that it did. And, I believe so much that this is going to be like the best. Like there's such good energy right now with all of you guys. Like I'm just talking to y'all in the DMs. We got ladies joining BBA. We've got ladies joining 10-week transformation. Like y'all are telling me you're listening to the show or you watch the YouTube. I got a comment last week. It made me so freaking happy. And y'all are like finally, I feel like there's just this like, we're so done with the fat diets and like the extremes. Like we're burnt out on that. We're done. Like we're really truly ready to create lasting success and treat our bodies with love and fuel them properly and do this in a way that's sustainable, eating the foods that we love. And so many of you guys are like so ready for that. But the other piece to the puzzle is also holding ourselves accountable. And so I'm super excited because I can tell that so many of you guys are like it's clicking on. Summer is always like a funny time because we're all traveling. Like it's summer. Like there's just that like relaxed vibe and freedom of summer that like when we really shift into sort of back to school and fall, you ladies lock in. And that's what I've been seeing. I was literally telling my fiance, I was like, these ladies are just like locking in, like they're ready to go. And I'm like super excited. It's awesome. So I am rooting for you so hard that you can overcome this self-sabotage. And if you've been giving yourself a little too much grace, no judgment, okay? If you're done towing the line, don't be afraid. I am giving you permission to truly call yourself out. Give yourself that tough love and hold yourself accountable to the things that you said that you wanted. Now, as always, if you're like, this all sounds great, but I'm struggling to do it alone, as always, we've got 2 options where we can help hold you accountable. So let's talk through them really quickly and round this one out. Number 1, Balanced Babe Academy. This is an incredible place to come in and have the support of other women. Like that's my favorite part about BBA is like the community. Like we have had so many ladies join us. Like I've been like wowed by like the progress updates and everything coming through from these ladies. And so many of you are saying like, it's just the support, like the environment, like being in the room with women who are doing these things, holding themselves accountable, sometimes having those struggles and missteps, but getting back on the horse, like just being in the room with that and that environment, it like you level up. You totally level up into, I'm not just trying to do it, I'm doing it. So I am so happy. Balanced Babe Academy is an incredible place. This is our membership, and this is an awesome way to get started. You get custom macros when you get started, as well as like a little custom, like you'll answer some questions and we'll review it. We'll send you like, hey, you should start here. We kind of give you a little bit of customization as you come in. And inside of BBA, when you come in, you actually have 21 days with us. You're doing our 21-day Tap into Transformation Fat Loss program. It's where you learn our entire framework, and you're in a our launching pad area where you're able to ask questions, get support as you're working through it so that you really have the answers and the help if there's anything that's popping up that you need. We do monthly calls. Like, it's so much fun. And so the community, the resources, recipes, workouts, like, it is your one-stop shop. Our membership is a great option. Option number 2 for my ladies who are like, I need more support. I need more accountability. 10-week transformation is our signature coaching program. We've had ladies getting started, and I'm so freaking pumped about this as well. I mean, I'm always equally excited about both. It's just a matter of which level of support and accountability are you looking for? So in 10-week transformation, you've got progress check-ins. That is my eyes on your, point to my eyebrows, my eyes on your stuff, reviewing your progress. I create a custom plan for you. I make a video and talk you through it when you come into the program. And we work in close proximity. So that is higher level of access and support with me inside of coaching. So yeah, we get started with your custom plan. We do progress check-ins, which means that I am reviewing your food logs. I'm reviewing your progress tracker, and making adjustments. We are really, again, working super close, and you can always level up to our elite level and get one-on-one text with me. We just brought this back. I'm so excited. Text with me so that we can be like in each other's pockets. Like, I love being able to just answer quick questions, give you support, send you a voice note. Hey, speaking of sabotage, like, let's talk through it. Let's work through it together. Really on-demand coaching as well as a weekly touch point. So, if you're somebody who tends to disappear like after like a week or two, not an elite level, I'm coming to get you. So I would love for you to think through those options. And if you're like, I know I need support, I know I need accountability, whatever level it is for you that you need, we've got you covered, and we would love to have you join us. If you want to message me to ask me like, hey, like, let me know a little bit about you and where you're at, what your goals are, and I can definitely give you my advice on which option would be best for you. Both options are fabulous. It truly is just a matter. You'll lose weight with both options. It's truly a matter of what level of accountability and support you are looking for. So as always, you guys, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope that this truth talk fell on your ears in a way that you needed to hear it, on your heart in a way that, truly does create some impact and value for your journey and your transformation. As always, I love when you shoot me a message on Instagram. Let me know what you thought of the episode at Balance by Hillary with 1L, and I will see you guys in the next show. Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of It's All About Balance. And if you did enjoy today's show, make sure that you're subscribed so that you never miss a new episode. If you have not already, please connect with me on social media. I absolutely love meeting you guys and getting to know you. I will drop the links to my social in the show notes as well as our website. And I will see you guys next time.